This is my quick draw Sylvan Quasar. It's not really an OTK per se, because if you use solar charge you can't attack, but a first turn Quasar is really good. But if you play the combos right without soul charge, you can make Quasar an OTK anyway, but typically you just make Quasar. Since soul charge makes it so easy to make Quasar, and the materials you use to make Quasar, which are these three, since you could just bring them back next turn with a soul charge and go into another Quasar and another Quasar, like that's why I have 3 Quasars and 3 shootings in the extra deck, because the possibility of making them multiple times is highly possible with the power of soul charge. So I got 3 quick draws. He's useful when you have Dandelion or Spore in the hand, because typically you want them in the deck so you can go Lone Fire into Lone Fire, which gets you into Dandelion. You soul charge, bring them back to 2 Lone Fires, use one of the Lone Fires on Dandelion, you get 2 tokens, and you can bring out Spore from the deck onto the field. Then you Spore on one of the tokens to make Formula, draw a card. Then you can use your second Lone Fire to bring out Cherry Tomato. Right? What was I doing? Make Formula. Yeah, Tomato. I think I was supposed to bring back Dandelion. I'll show the combo later. I kind of fucked up on my mind what was going on, because I know I make Spore, use the last token to make Formula. Hyper Librarian, and then I use the Tomato with Dandelion or Lone Fire, whichever one I bring back. Alright, so plus I could still normal summon, so I could summon Marshall Leaf, and that and Cherry Tomato makes Quasar. You get the idea. It's a combo that needs to be done in the right order for it to work, but it works. Alright, Sylvan, Sage, because he's 7-star. You can special summon him when a Sylvan goes to the graveyard, so that's useful. I just made like Big Eye. I summoned 2 Sages. On my opponent made Big Eye. I was gonna take his lead yoke. he scooped. That was funny. Guardian Oak, 6-star. 2 of them I can go into M7. I always use the Excavate 3 part of his effect, and sometimes I use his secondary effect when he's excavated. Put a plant type monster in my graveyard on top of my deck. That helps with reusability of Peacekeeper, or I could just put Lone Fire back on my deck so I could draw it next turn. But typically Peacekeeper, especially if I have the field spell on the field, because then on my opponent's end phase I just use the field spell's effect, mill Peacekeeper, get Peacekeeper's effect to get back Lone Fire so that I have them for my turn. Marshall Leaf, yeah, Peacekeeper, because he lets me get low 4 lower, and obviously this is how you reuse Lone Fire Blossom over and over and over again when you excavate him. Marshall Leaf, he's the monster destroyer, plus when you normal summon you can excavate up to 2, so I always choose 2. Plus he's a 3-star, so it's useful when I'm trying to go into Hyper Librarian or Catastor in order to go into Quasar. Cherry Tomato, because 1 dies by battle, you bring out 2 more, so it makes a good defense. Plus it's a plant, plus it's a 2-star tuner, so I can use it to synchro into Hyper Librarian or Catastor for when I'm making Formula. Mount Sylvia lets me control the top of my deck so I can excavate appropriately, as it were. Soul Charge, that's the bread and butter of the deck, because that's what gets you the Quasar plays. Miracle Fertilizer, just the monster reborn of the deck. Reuse Lone Fire Blossom over and over again. Bring out your big beat stick. MST, Regeki Break, red screen, nice staples. You know what to do with that. 2 Lone Fires, because of course Lone Fire is the main effect of the deck that gets the deck rolling. Dandelion, because it has a good effect. Token's always good defense. Good for synchroing and tributing for other effects. Plus he's a 3-star. And he combos with Lone Fire, with Spore, so that way you can make a 4-star Lone Spore tuner, so you can synchro with a token to make Catastrophe or Hyper Librarian. Plus he's a 1, and then of course Spore is a 1-star, so you could just make formula with him, or you can, if I had space for other synchros, I would have like Stardust, Scrap Dragon, stuff like that. And I could use him with Sage, or use him with Oak and make Black Rose, but I don't have space for it, so I don't do that. I just go for Quasar. M7 comes in handy against certain decks, Bujins, to get rid of their little graveyard effects, so that way they can't protect their Yamato with graveyard effects. Good to reduce the chances of somebody dropping a JD. It's good for reusing stuff, getting your Sages back, so you can resummon them by special effect, or get your Lone Fire back. Number 11 Big Eye can be made with 2 Sages, of course. This is how I took my opponent's lead yoke and he scooped. Draco Sack, good first turn play, good in general. Most people have problem dealing with him, so he's worth making, because the idea is to make it hard for your opponent to beat you, not easier. Formula, of course, get that draw, plus you need it to make Quasar. Hyper Librarian for extra draw. He's a 5-star Synchro Catastrophe because he has a good effect, plus he's a 5-star, so that way you can use him for Quasar. Drill Work, because you can reuse the Dandelion, you can get back this Lone Fire, you can get back Sages, you can get back anything you want. It pretty much does the same thing M7 does. Plus you can have his attack directly. You can pretty much win games with just that effect alone. Drunk Archer is good. Remove something out of your way, especially if it's a big monster that can't be destroyed. Like let's say Belzy, Diabolic Dragon. Remove him from play, attack directly for a game, if you get game, right? Junk Destroyer helps you get rid of something on the field, plus he's 2600. It's decent. And then of course 3 Shooting Star Dragons, because you can make 3 Quasars. So if Quasar goes down, shooting replaces it. And that is the quick draw Sylvan Quasar potential OT.